I had a hair transplant. I used to be completely bald, but yet from this distance, you could probably never tell. In the editing, we'll put some videos and photos of me when I was like completely bald. I was never completely bald. It was just like the classic male pattern balding. And not only did I have a hair transplant, which is when they take hair from the back of your head or the side of your head and implant it in the bald spots, they'd be full coverage. I also had something called scalp micropigmentation. That's scalp micropigmentation. From here on out, we'll just call it SMP. And what SMP is literal tattoo on your head to give the appearance of hair. So I have about maybe in the balding areas, like again, from here to here, as you saw in the photos and videos we had in editing, was completely like smooth skin, like shiny bald, they call it. And as I get closer, even here, you can't tell. It looks like 100% hair coverage. It's probably about 60% hair, 60, 70% hair, and the rest, 30, 35%, whatever, is actually little tattoos, little dots. It's the SMP, the scalp micropigmentation. When I get really, really close, now maybe you can kind of tell, right? Can you see that it's like, it's a combination of hair and little tiny tattoo dots, hair and little tiny tattoo dots. Now, I'm about, I don't know, like my hand, I don't know, what is that, like, 8 inches, I'm like 5, 6 inches. I'm really, really close to the camera. Even when I'm at like, this is me like arm's length, from the camera, you can never tell. I mean, I've dated girls for 2, 3, 4 months at a time, and I've never had them say, wait a minute, babe, is your hair like partially tattoo and partially like real hair? Like no one would ever know. Plus, girl, I'm about 5'11", so most girls look at me like this is how they view me, right? Or like something like this. So to me, it looks absolutely perfect. There'll be some haters in the comments like there always are, but I think it looks perfect. And this is the key, gentlemen. I want to make this clear. Hair transplant plus SMP is the GOAT. It is the greatest thing of all time. And I'm gonna talk about my full story about why I did it. That should be perfectly obvious. Why? To look better, to look younger and be more attractive to women and more self-confident. That's the why. We're talking about cost, where I did it, what the recovery is, more about this SMP thing actually. Shout out to Marina. It's scalp_LA, I believe. I'll put a photo of her Instagram and a link of it in the description. Marina is the only person that I trust to touch up my hair with the SMP. Long story short, if you go to the wrong person, train wreck, nightmare. I try to go to the third world and do this, and you spend third world prices, you get it done in Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, you get third world results. So she's out in Los Angeles. It's worth flying in, even if you're not already in the Los Angeles area, to see Marina. So there you go. All right, first things first, let's talk about the hair transplant, the cost, the recovery, what was that like, and where I did it. So I did it in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I'm not gonna shout out the name of my clinic. I'm not sure if they did a good job or a bad job. So the way a hair transplant works, some of you guys know this, is they take the hair from the back of your head, they implant it all over the bald spots. It looks perfect, it looks amazing, and then it's a question of how much of it is gonna stick, because you look perfect when you walk out of there, and then it all falls out. That's called the shedding phase. Here in the editing of the video, I'll put up various videos of me going through the shedding phase, or what they call the ugly duckling phase, where you look perfect, you were all happy and stoked right after the procedure, but then it all fell out afterwards and you're like, fuck. And then you have like this, like your hair looks like kind of like scorched earth or something like that. It looks really, really bad. They charged me $3,000. They let me pay for it in payments. In the US, I would have paid triple or quadruple for that in the US. And in my case, about only 50 to maybe 60% of the hair that they transplanted in actually grew back. So my shedding phase was terrible. And they kept saying, a few more months, a few more months. Look, they'll say like, oh, if you ask like ChatGPT, what are the full results of a hair transplant? They'll say it takes like up to a year. That's bullshit. You're seeing most of the results, I would say, by month 4 to 6. If you're in like the 4 to 6 month range after your hair transplant, that's probably as good as it's ever gonna get. It's not gonna get much better. Then I waited, and it wasn't until about 8 or 9 or 10 months in, I'm like, okay, this is as good as it's gonna get. It's not that great. So I'm gonna go, through this SMP thing, which I'll talk about in a second. But first, let's talk about the recovery. So the recovery sucks balls. You have to sleep sitting up. So I'm a terrible sleeper in general, even like lying down in a comfortable bed. So you have to, I was like sitting up, and then they give you like a special pillow, like one of those like, flying pillows that looks like a little like horseshoe pillow that you put on your neck. And then I would take Ambien and just like sleep sitting up. My face got extremely swollen. You have to like basically stay indoors. You can't even wear a hat or do anything. If anything, like if you like do this, if anything like touches your hair, it all falls out. So you're pretty much, you know, locked in a hotel or your bedroom, apartment building, whatever it is, for like 5 or 6 days. I think after that, then you can like gently like start to wear a hat. And then the swelling was really, really bad. We'll try to find photos of me with my swelling. It was so bad that the facial recognition software to let me into my building that I was staying in Brazil wouldn't even like recognize me. My face was so swollen and puffy. So again, it was in Brazil. It was $3,000. I can't say if they did a good job or bad job. Maybe I'm just a bad responder. Maybe they're an amazing clinic, but I would like to think that like more than like half the hair, like every story I've seen on TikTok or through friends had better results than mine. So maybe just go to Turkey because they're the real experts. So I can't really shout them out, but I would say probably better just go to Turkey where they're true experts and deal with the hassle of going over there. And plan for, I'd say, all in all, like, you know, a really horrible 5-day recovery. After that, another week or so of shit where shit's pretty bad. And then after about 2 weeks, you can basically resume normal activities. Your swelling should go down. You'll have great hair, and then it'll all start falling out. By, I'd say, month 2, pretty much most, if not all, of the transplanted hair that they put in has fallen out. And then around month 4, 5, 6, you pretty much see 80 to 90% of the results. You just cross your fingers and hope that most of it grows back. So we'll talk about the reaction I received from women in a second. That's obviously, you know, most of you guys who follow me, this is a dating channel, so we'll talk about the reception I got from women in a second. But let's talk about this SMP thing. So again, I'm super against tattoos and women. You guys, I think tattoos are disgusting. And look at me, so hypocritical, right? The thing about this tattoo thing is like, you have to get it redone about every year to 2 years, depending on, you know, a lot of things. But your body will naturally remove the ink. It will naturally fade over time. So it's not a one-time solution. However, it does last for quite a long time. And if you do this, you know, a few touch-ups, you know, you go in, then you get a touch-up 6 months later, another touch-up 6 months later. And maybe this type of thing where if you're lucky, over time, a lot of it just may kind of become semi-permanent. And maybe, look, you only have to do this like once every, you know, 2 years or something like that. You can also, if you're just bald and you don't want to get a hair transplant at all, you can also just go 100% SMP. And the editing of the video will put up some, like just people who did like regular scalp micropigmentation to their head that don't even have any hair transplant. Like they shave their head, whatever, they get rid of all the hair as possible. Or maybe they have a little bit of hair, but they did no the point is like, I'll put up pictures where people did no transplant at all and they just did only the SMP. It doesn't hurt. It takes about an hour. No, sorry. It takes about 2 to 3 hours. It's a long procedure. Like it's a hassle. It's like, I wouldn't say it hurts, but like she's like drilling into your head and, you know, it's not pleasant. But again, I'll come up closer. Like there'll always be the haters, right? There'll always be some haters in the comments. But to me, like, bro, I'm super satisfied with this. Again, like I date girls. They have no idea that it's, you know, combination of like little tiny tattoos with real hair. I couldn't be any happier with it, you know, from, you know, heaven forbid, like, you know, like someone get that close to you, like someone have to be like literally like breathing on top of you to like even notice. And let's talk about the reaction from women. Speaking of reaction from women, fantastic. So when I would like play a game with girls, like we're trying to guess each other's ages before the scalp micropigmentation, my real age is 37. So they would guess, oh, they would guess pretty spot on. They would guess maybe a little bit, you know, they would say, oh, you're you know, 33, 34, 35. They would pretty much guess my age pretty much spot on. After the hair transplant, they typically guess about 10 years younger. So it's funny, like really, really young girls, like 19, 20, 21-year-old girls, thinking I'm just like a few years older than them. They're like, oh, like you're 25, 26. Girls that are around, you know, 25, 26, or even girls in their 30s, they typically guess around 28. Every once in a while, a girl will still guess accurately. She'll be like, you're about like, yeah, 35 or so, something like that, around like 35. But it's very, very rare. Oh, and I preface this, I say, hey, don't, you know, change your answer. Like, I'm a guy, you don't like, you're not going to hurt my self-esteem if you guess younger. So yeah, like, I would ask this to a lot of girls. I have a very, very high sample size. They all think I'm looking about 10 years younger. And overall, like, look, I still got girls. I'll put up some videos of me with Lana. Lana's probably the most beautiful girl I ever got in my whole life. I got Lana when I was bald, but Lana was a very special case. You know, she really liked ginger. She really liked white guys. She had made it up in her head, you know, long time, but she wasn't going to date a Brazilian guy. I was like a cool gringo that slid in her DMs. I spoke Portuguese. There's a lot of luck involved there. And, you know, I got a lot of girls. If you guys watch my B-roll and on my Instagram, yes, I still got a lot of girls when I was bald, but the reception is a lot better. I can't say like, you know, quantify it numerically. Let me try. I would say about, from what I can understand, it probably made me about like a point more attractive on average to girls. So if a girl would have rated me a 6, now I'm a 7. If she thought I was a 7, now she thinks I'm an 8. If she, you know, etc. If she thought I was a 9, now I'm a perfect 10. But I have noticed a big reception of girls, better reception of girls on both dating apps and cold approach. And also it just gives the haters one less thing. They go, oh, this guy's bald, this balding guy. It's definitely increased my confidence. I really do like having a hairline. And again, the key is the hair transplant with SMP. Now, if you want to like, you know, style your hair and do like, you know, full do, the SMP won't save your ass as much as it did for mine. But if you want like that cool, like, dude, the buzz cut is undefeated. Like it's just you say, do it yourself. You don't need to make a trip to the barber. And like I said, it's undefeated. It's classic. Girls love it. Looks like you're going to war, like you're in the military. You look, you know, super cool and badass. And if you want to do what I want, which I suggest, right? Even if it gets like significantly longer, the SMP still looks really, really good. Now, when the hair is like quite a bit longer, and then you get really close, then it is a little bit more obvious to tell like, oh, there's some tattoo and there's some real hair. But, you know, nobody at a bar, nightclub, I mean, it'd have to be like, you know, someone taller than you. Like girls aren't gonna, because again, girls look at you like that, like what, you know, this is me straight on, like eye to eye with the camera. Girls don't see this. Girls see like this, right? Girls are like shorter, they look up to you, right? So would have to get really, really close to you. Even if you want to get longer hair, SMP can definitely give you that, you know, fuller, denser look. You guys, some guys spray like the little hair follicles. I used to like to spray the fake hair particles in there. You just basically, it saves you from doing that, basically. It's like a more permanent version of that. And again, it's Marina, and her Instagram is scalp_LA. I'll put a link in the description of the video to her page. Again, she was fantastic. I don't trust anybody else to touch my head with the SMP. So if you're anywhere near the Los Angeles area, like I said, even if you're not, it's worth flying in to see Marina. She's in Sherman Oaks, which is, you know, Los Angeles basically. And if you mention to her, say, hey, Marina, I saw you from Casey Redbeard. I saw you from his YouTube, his Instagram, just mention Casey Redbeard. She will give you a discount. So you definitely want to do it. And like I said, it's hair transplant plus SMP is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I think I covered everything. Yeah, I mean, better reaction from girls. Like, is it worth it? Yes. Like long and short, like it is absolutely worth it. It's worth the recovery. I think I had something like 4,000 grafts or something like that. So it was quite a lot. So even if you're like, you know, pretty damn balding, like I would say this, if you're like really, really balding and people told you like, yo, you're not a good candidate for this, like you don't have enough quote unquote donor hairs. Donor hairs are the ones that like go around like, you know, the back, like the ones that you like never lose, like all around here. If you combine it with SMP, you will, because like I said, it'll be, you know, a combination of SMP and real hair, and you just shave it, you just buzz it, and you just look dope. Like the point isn't like that you have like this long, like luxurious hair. The point is like you at least you have like a hairline. You're just like not bald. You don't need to have like whatever the whatever new hairstyle, the man bun and all that, you know, like if you want to have like a full-on man bun with full density, I don't think a hair transplant is going to save you, but it's absolutely worth it. You look younger, you look sexier. It probably raises your attractiveness by like at least 1 point. Confidence, it gives the haters one less thing to make fun of you for. Totally worth it. 10-day recovery time. And remember to see Marina in LA. Let her know that you watched my video, you get a discount. And that's all I have to say. Totally worth it to get a hair trans. You guys keep asking about it, so now I can just send you guys this video when you ask about it. So that's it. Cheers.